Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the vlog. So this is gonna be a whole different video. I know in that last video, if you didn't see it, it's gonna be like right here. Basically, I talked about the difference between being time independent versus geographic agnostic and why you should have that in your current life, or at least why you should be striving towards that. And I kind of got into a little bit of the economics, why, all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into it now. This episode, I'm gonna talk more about just the productivity business, what I've been trying to do with it, what my plans are, what I've been seeing from other people. This is gonna be sort of me just like spilling my brains all about different marketing and business stuff. Now, when it comes to the productivity business, like I said, it's relatively new. It's an old business that, I don't know if you saw the other episodes where I may have talked about this. It's an old business that I had before and I'm trying to revamp it, trying to like really tighten things up. And basically what I've been doing lately, and I'm saying this because maybe this is something that you could apply to your own life. I've been focusing heavily on just direct outreach. And basically the goal has been, and if in the comments, let me know, maybe this sounds like a shitty strategy. Let me know what you think about this. The goal's pretty much been do direct outreach, try to get someone to come on board for a free trial. From the free trial, basically what I get out of the free trial is a testimonial / case study. Hopefully it's both. And if I get the case study, technically that I'm counting that as a testimonial. But when I say testimonial, what I mean is like, it's the client actively saying what they like about the service and giving their feedback so other people can see the feedback. A case study, on the other hand, is me just kind of taking them from point A to point B, recording it and recording via video, via audio, and via kind of like transcription and documentation, and using that to market the product. Now, the direct outreach is it's gonna be my main strategy, mainly because social media for me sucks. And I'm gonna be completely honest, it's gonna sound arrogant. I don't think I'm shitty at social media. I don't think my video editing is shitty, especially compared to most people I see on social media. I don't think that my copy is bad, especially compared to most people that I see on social media. And I'm talking about people that actually do well. I think their copy is awful. I think my product I think is good, fantastic. Again, a little bit biased, and I'm not saying the product can't be better. I think the service could be better. I'm always trying to find ways to improve. There's no perfect service, is what I mean. Even if other people said my service was like 10 out of 10, to me that still means that there's still room for improvement. But I do think that to a degree, and I know this is an excuse people say, and I know that sometimes some of these bigger creators say, oh, well, that's not true. I think that's garbage. I think it is true. What I think is true is that I think the social media has kind of suppressed me. I do not know why. I can't figure out the reasoning for it. And I'm saying this because people will say, if the quality of the content is good, then you'll get followers and you'll get views and you'll get all that stuff. I feel like that's true. For whatever reason though, I do think that my personal profiles, they get no reach. Like I check the analytics and I'll see how many people my content goes to. I have like 7,000 followers. It'll go to like 10 people. Literally, it'll go to 10 people, and out of the 10 people it goes to, like 5 will like, and 1 might comment. I don't know what happened over this past year. Like in the beginning of this year and last year and the years prior, my profile was good. Like I'd make content, not even good, not even the same quality of content that I make now, far inferior quality content. And it would get pushed out and people would see it. You get random spikes. Nowadays, it's like nothing. Now, I will say that some of my old content that I've posted like a few months ago, I'm starting to see people watch it and it's starting to kind of ramp up. So maybe in the future, you'll see a vlog of me saying, I'm gonna go back to hitting social media hard because it's working out, and maybe I was just a bit impatient. That could be the case. But for now, I think my social media is pointless for the most part. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna post. I'm gonna post, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to create high quality content and consistent content all the time. If I have extra content, which I'm gonna get from these like YouTube videos, if I clip it up, that's gonna be my content. And if something like resonates in that content that I think could be translated into, say, a thread or a blog post or an email article or email newsletter, whatever, then I'll go ahead and post that. I'll go ahead and make that. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm doing direct outreach. And so basically what the strategy has been, and what it so far will continue to be, is I'm gonna outreach to people. I'm gonna say, hey man, are you interested in time management or productivity or whatever? I think currently my current script is, are you looking to improve your productivity? That's been my script right now. From there, what I plan on doing is if people say no, cool, move on, have a nice day, I'm not interested in you. And this sounds mean, but this is just my general thinking. I'm not interested, I don't want to talk to you. If you are interested, then you can do a trial call with me. We'll figure out what's wrong. And my goal for this trial call is to actively give as much quality as I can, as much value. I know people say that, but in a weird way, part of my goal with this productivity training and the overall service of this coaching is so people kind of don't need the coaching. I know that probably sounds weird, but my goal is that they come in day one, they get so much service. Kind of a side tangent. When they sign up, what I have set up is like a Zapier that will allow them to kind of get it's a Zapier set up between my MailChimp newsletter. So, and I don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. But basically when people sign up on Calendly, it'll send a zap to my MailChimp, and my MailChimp will tag them appropriately and put them in this automated email sequence. And basically it's a simple automated email sequence, at least this one that I'm talking about. And basically what it does is once they sign up, it'll send them a bunch of resources. Some of them with a planner, I think one of it's like a webinar I used to do back in the day on how to manage your time effectively, just a bunch of stuff that's gonna help them on day one. And the reason why I did that is because I've had people fall off. Like they'll sign up, and once they sign up, they might sign up like in the future, like maybe a week from that time that they click the link, or 2 weeks. And I feel like in that time frame, there's not enough reach out. There's not enough value being delivered to them. And it makes them forget that they even signed up in the first place. Or maybe they lost interest. Maybe at that moment they had interest, and then as time goes on, a week goes on, 2 weeks go on. Once it gets closer to that coaching session, they've lost interest, and then they fall off, and then I can't get in contact with them. And I still follow up, but the point that I'm making is that my goal is to reduce the need to follow up. My goal is to reduce the no-shows. Does that make sense? And so my plan is to do this by one, trying to get them to schedule for a session as quickly as possible. So rather than have someone sign up and their first session is like 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now, or a month from now, their first session should be in a few days, or at the very least by the end of the week. That's my goal. Then from that point, they get that email, and then they'll get multiple emails depending on how long out they are from their initial call. Does that make sense? So that's my goal. And then the purpose of it is it's gonna be free, but once they go ahead and do it, my goal is to deliver so much value and give them actual results that they'll want to leave quality feedback. They'll want to leave a good testimonial, which I can use to market and get more people in the future. And the other part of it is the case study. In the case study, I'm gonna make a website where it'll be easy for them to apply, and it's gonna be free for them to apply. It's gonna be free for like the first, I'm trying to play around with how long the free sessions will be. Like initially it was 4 weeks of free coaching, and then I thought that might be a bit long, because if it gets, the longer I think it is, the more people will delay and they're not gonna take action. And I found that a lot of the people that I've been working with now, the hard part is getting them to take action. Like they might have a problem, and you might say to them, do your planner, just do one thing per day. The main things I say all the time, like do your planner, do one thing a day. Don't do all these other activities that do not matter. Focus when you are doing your high quality work, like use the Pomodoro tactic, whatever, and they won't do it. And the next week they come back and I'm like, did you do A, B, and C? And they're like, no, I didn't do A, B, and C. Okay, did you do at least A? I kinda did A, and it kinda worked, but I didn't quite do it. Okay, so we gotta go back to week one. Do A, B, and C, and then you'll see results. I guarantee you'll see results. And then, so then it takes them a few weeks to actually get A, B, and C done. Then once they get A, B, and C done, they come back and they're like, yes, it worked well. I had a client recently, and she was trying to like get more leads for her business, whatever. And I said, just do A, B, and C. That's it, just do A, B, and C. It took her like 3 weeks to just do A, And then she finally did just A. She was like, I got a client in like 2 days. And I was like, yeah, of course, because you actually just did the steps. Now you only did A. Imagine if you did A, B, and C. You'd get a lot more work done, wouldn't you? So, side tangent. But I think if I do 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks, it'll increase the chance that they'll actually get to work faster, because I think people will not want to waste that free trial. Does that make sense? So I'm looking at 3 as a sweet spot. 2 might be too short, because I think if I do 2 sessions, in that first session, I'm gonna have to give them like really solid advice. And I sense that they might not even give me the full story on that first session. Like sometimes with some of the people I've been working with, you have to really pull out information from them. Like pull out the reasons why they're doing something, pull out their motivations, pull out what they want their results to be in the long grand scheme of things. And then from there, like that might take one whole session. And then by the time the second session comes around, it's hard for them to see like objective results, because they spent a whole week just trying to like learn or learn, like almost learn about themselves, like figure out what their own motivations are. So I think 3 for now is going to be solid. I'm saying all this so that way, just in case you're thinking about planning anything, this can be, I don't know, food for thought for you. 3 sessions. By the end of it, it's free. So if they want to just vanish and not pay, that's totally fine. But at the very least, I'm getting something. I'm getting a case study, I'm getting a testimonial, hopefully both, but either of the 2 is fine. So, and the reason why I'm doing it that way too, is I think if on the front end, if I just make people try to pay for coaching, at least now, because it's so early in this like business, if I try to get people to pay too early without any proof that it'll work, I think people get scared, especially now because people are like getting on hard times. People don't really see the value of like self-improvement, which is crazy to me, because to me, self-improvement is the only valuable thing you can probably buy. Not the only thing, but one of the most important things you can possibly buy, especially time management. Like people waste time so much. I'm not gonna get into a tangent, but yeah. So I think right now, people aren't gonna see the value in it, despite it, in my personal biased opinion, it being immensely valuable. And they're not gonna wanna pay on the front end. So if I give them the training, give them objective results, my goal is that they can either leave and I get something out of it. Because I've done that before where I've had people go through something and I don't ask for anything in return. And oftentimes they don't do anything at all, which is pointless. It's a waste of time. On both of our ends, it's a waste of time because they're not really, they're going through the motions and not really like putting in active effort. And it's a waste of time for me because I could be using that time to market towards other people. That saves all that from happening. I'm getting something out of it, even if it's not money. It's a potential for money in the future, which is totally fine for my personal objective, which is brand building. That's what I want more than anything else. And maybe I'll do a video in the future about brand building, but I get something and it puts their feet to the fire a little bit. And then at the end of it, after 3 weeks, what I'll do is say like, if you want to continue, you can, but there's a fee. And my goal right now is, so far I've been charging people $150 a month. I think that's a fair price. I've been doing research on other productivity and time management businesses that I don't think are nearly as good as mine. And you definitely don't get the same one-on-one contact as I give. And they charge like $5,000 like a month, so, or a year, which is crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I think it's a good value, but I just think that right now I can't charge that much. I don't think the product has demonstrated that much value. And I think 150 is fair. I think if you're actively doing something in your life that you think will provide results, like if you have a goal in life, whether it's fitness, money, relationship-based, investing 150 a month in order to learn how to manage your time better, I think is easy value, because your time is automatically worth any amount of money that you can possibly come up with, always, because you can't get time back. So I think asking people for 150 is perfectly fine. But then what I plan on doing is once they go through the trial period, I'll say to them, look, for the first, either for the next couple of months, or maybe this whole year, or maybe forever, and maybe not forever, but I'm just kind of throwing out stuff right now, throwing out ideas I've had, I'll give you a discount. I'll give it to you for like 25% off or something, or instead of 150, it's $100 a month, or 99 bucks a month, 97, whatever, some price. And I think that's more incentive that they'll stay on. I've had one person so far that worked for, and this is kind of me just starting this business, that worked out well. There's other people that I've had that dropped out, and mainly it was because of the price, which I totally get. 150 is a lot of money. Like I tell people like, if you can't afford it, don't get mad. I'm not gonna be that kind of person that's gonna be like, take out a loan to buy my product. I kind of think that's unethical, my personal opinion. I think if someone can't afford something on the front end, I don't think it's good to badger them or find like these strange ulterior ways for them to pay. I've been a victim of that myself, and it's it's shitty. It's shitty to say the least. Like trying to get someone to take out a loan to buy your product that they don't know is going to actually work and probably won't work, at least for a variety of reasons. It might be a perfectly fine product, but they might not use it the right way. And then once a lot of companies make these sales, they're not interested in like the customer or client actively getting results to a degree. They're just interested in getting more money. So they do whatever they can to keep the client on, but they don't do enough to keep the client winning, which to me doesn't make any sense, because if the client wins, they're gonna keep coming back. That's my ultimate philosophy. That to me, that makes the most sense. So yeah, so the whole purpose, so without me getting too like rambly, that's the way I'm gonna try to get clients. That's the main way. And then from there, as I start to build up more money, I'm gonna invest more into just ads. And I think ads is gonna be the second thing I invest into, because with ads, and I've already tried to invest, I've already kind of put out ads and they've been okay. But I from personal experience, I've learned to not get carried away with ads and to also have a solid strategy. I got plates down here. And to also have a solid strategy for the ads. So kind of a quick look into the future. I am running ads now. I'm testing ads, I'll say. I'm not trying to put like a ton of money into them because I don't know exactly. I don't really want to give them my full focus. I want to focus more on direct outreach right now because I think it's the most effective way to get clients right now. And I think it's the best way to get at least some results. I think social media and I think the ads and everything else are perfectly fine. But I think the downside is that you can't always predict how well they'll go. Like if I put out a post, for example, and I say something like DM me or comment time to get a free trial. If my post doesn't go anywhere, and if it reaches 8 people that aren't interested, then it's nothing I can do about that. Like I guess I can pay to boost it, but that could be a waste of money. So I don't know. I don't think that's the most effective use of my time and money right now. I think the best way is direct outreach and trying to build up recurring revenue that way. And then once I get enough recurring revenue in the account, I take that money from the account and then I use that to get ads. And then once I get enough leads from ads, I find a way to convert them into more recurring revenue. And then I try to offset it by figuring out how much does it cost to acquire a client versus how much does it cost for me per month to keep a client? Like how much am I getting overall? And so real quick, just some random, not random, but just some numbers I've seen. For me not trying ads too much, kind of just experimenting. So far, my current ads, and I've been running them for about a month or two, the cost to acquire a lead is about $3.93. So let's say $4. If they pay me a month, just 1 month, it's $150. Assuming I don't do a discount. If I do a discount, it's still profitable so far. So I think in the grand scheme of things, ads are gonna work well. And again, this is all assuming that everything stays the same, that the cost to acquire customers is gonna be the same. And there's other stuff I plan on doing in the future. Like for example, I think in the grand scheme of things, there's gonna be some point where simply just doing coaching is not gonna be lucrative enough. It's not gonna be financially worth the time. And so part of me wants to also train other people to do what I'm doing now. So you still get that one-on-one personal touch. But the other part of it too is to also have like courses and programs to sell that people can buy that basically walks them through everything that you get in the coaching without that accountability and without that one-on-one touch. So that's my long-term goal. My bad if I was all over the place. There's more that I want to talk about too, but I don't want this video to be too long. I don't want it to be like too boring or too in the weeds or too all over the place. Because like I said, I have no script. This is just me kind of, I don't know if I said that in this video. I think I said that in the last video, but there's no script. This is just me kind of like rambling, giving my 2 cents, giving my thoughts as they appear. Kind of telling you guys how things are turning out as it's happening. And like I said too, this is a brand new business I'm trying to run. And the thing I'm trying to do with this business, I don't know if I mentioned this in the past, I'm trying to build it from scratch completely. So I'm doing my absolute best to not put in my own money into it. I'm doing my absolute best to kind of just use whatever social media I have, use the email list I built up solely for this purpose, and use my own efforts, like direct outreach, to build this business. Does that make sense? So like, cause someone might say in the comments, well, why don't you just put money into ads? I could do that. And the reason why I won't do that, at least not right now, maybe in the future I might change my mind. The reason why I won't do that now is because I've had businesses in the past where I tried to put all my personal money into ads or into like all these efforts. and it didn't turn out well. I spent too much money, and you don't want to do that. It's just not I'm a big fan of not using too much money. How do I say this? I like the idea of testing out ideas before I begin to use my own personal money to grow the business. Does that make sense? Like, quick story. I know this video might be getting a bit long, but quick story. I used to have this business with a partner called Affinity, and it was basically it was a marketing agency. And initially, from like day one, we put in tons of our own money. We had money saved up, and we put in tons of our own money. And I put in a lot on just like software, which is so stupid. I shouldn't have done that. I bought like ClickFunnels. I bought like all these different like email things. I bought like these lead generation services, Facebook ads, all this stuff that I should not have been using. And it screwed us over because I think the product itself was actually not bad and the service was good. The issue that we had is it was too much all at once, and there was no real strategy to kind of use those tools effectively. Like, we had landing pages, but we didn't have the traffic to justify those landing pages. And then we didn't also have like the means of using those landing pages, getting the emails, and then knowing what we're gonna send to those people once we got them. Does that make sense? Like, we get a lead, and the next step was, what do we do with the lead? Do we just call them? Do we email them? How do we email them? We didn't have a step-by-step process of exactly what we were gonna do. So it was ultimately pointless to have all those things. And I find like this is a normal strategy. This is a normal problem that even today I face often. Like, in my mind, I can think of like 1,000 different strategies and things I could do. But in real time, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what is actually effective? What is actually the thing that's gonna get me from point A to point B? And so that leads me back around to the thing that I personally think right now in this business, without me using all of my money to invest into it, the thing that would work the best is direct outreach. And mainly because it's free. It's free, and it's just a time-based activity. And the upside to it is so great because I only need a few clients to give me some recurring revenue, which I can then use to do ads and to buy the software I need and all that stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this wasn't like super confusing and all over the place. I know I get to be a bit rambly and I go on these tangents sometimes when I talk. So hopefully you followed along with that. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Let me know if any of these strategies sounded wacky and there's something else that you think I should be doing or something else you think I could be doing that I might not have touched on. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.